From toolpath to G-code to part.
Hey YouTube, what's going on? I'm Greg. Welcome back to my machine shop. Today we're going to continue our series, How to Trick Fusion360 into Doing What We Want. We're going to use Fusion360 CAM to create the toolpaths for our Wallaby timing case assembly. This front plate and the rear plate. What do you do when you spend a fair amount of time creating a toolpath for one part, like this plate here, and then you have to make a second plate that's not quite the same? Well, there's a couple ways within Fusion360 that we can copy our setups and have used templates for some of the common operations. And then I'm going to let you in on a secret. Let me know in the comments below whether you know this already. But did you know that there is a CAD program hidden within Fusion360 CAM? It's a tool that lets the machinists create their own models and add features to facilitate creating toolpaths. There are several examples of how we can use this to our advantage, and we'll look at those when we jump onto the computer. But before we do, click subscribe. Okay, I'm waiting. All right, let's go jump on the computer. Open up Fusion360, go to File, Open from Computer, and open up the plate timing case front Wallaby. This is an existing file that already has all of the toolpaths created to cut the front plate on your CNC. Now, the cases we're going to look at today is, okay, I've got this toolpath and I want to now cut the rear plate without having to recreate all of these toolpaths. How do we do that? So let's save this. Open up our data panel. Okay, that's saved. Now let's open up the rear plate. But we're going to open up the IGES file, which is a file that is output by our CAD program. Okay, so there's two things we can do. We can open our front and we can copy this whole setup, copy and paste it. Another thing that we can do is we can go to manufacturing. So let's create a new setup. Let's make this real simple, since this is not we're going to orient in the X and Z directions. I'm going to pick a vertical line here for my Z. I'm going to pick another line for my X. I'm going to flip my Z so it's up in the air. A selected center there for my origin. And I'm going to go up here and select my model. Okay. So what I want to show you is we can create templates, which are operations that can be saved. So I right-click on my setup, and you can see right here, Create From Template. The first one is a ramp operation using a 16th end mill for holes. There we go. And I can open this up, and I can select a hole. And there we have it. We've got an operation for milling out a hole. So that's one thing you can do, is you can use templates. Now, we can do the opposite of this. We can right-click on this operation, and we can come down towards the bottom. Let's see, maybe you can't see that. Store as template. Looks like it's off screen. Store as template. Okay, remember that. Okay, so that's one trick. The second trick, and a little bit more powerful in my opinion. Let's delete this whole setup. Okay, so we're going to come over to our front plate that has all of the operations set up. We're going to right click on setup. We're going to come down to copy. it's just out of view for you. Copy. We're going to come over to this setup and make sure we're in our manufacturing environment. Right click again and click paste. And there we have all of our operations. All we need to do is go into setup, setup onto here, and we're off to the races. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is manufacturing models. Here we're using the original model, and this was our original CAD model. Let's say we want to make some modifications to this, or we want to add some features, delete some features, or highlight a feature. We can do that by making our own manufacturing model. The way we do this is we come up here to setup, right down here at the bottom, create manufacturing model. How about that? So now we have our own manufacturing model. This one is a copy of the CAD model, and we can go in here and we can make modifications. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go into our setup, and instead of clicking the default CAD model, we're going to click the manufacturing model. Okay, so I can go in and I can right click on this manufacturing model and edit manufacturing model. There isn't a line on this whole part that goes in the direction that I'd like my Y to go. I'd like to minimize the amount of stock. So the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to touch on the top plane and hit the P. That'll give me a projection of this part. I will select, left clicking on that curve, left clicking on that curve. Okay. Now I'm going to hit L, create a line, come down to this curve, and come up to this curve we created. And I'm going to make it tangent. See that little circle right there, right there? It's tangent. Okay. Now I'm going to select this line. It's already tangent up here. I'm going to select this curve, right click, click on tangent. Now I have a line tangent to those two surfaces. I'm going to finish sketch. I'm going to come up here and finish edit. And now my manufacturing model has this line in it. So in my setup, I can select Z axis. I have vertical lines here. And for my Y, I'm going to select this line we just created. And look at that. Look what it did to our stock. It minimized the amount of stock we had to use. Okay, I'm going to invert the Z so this points up. And I'm going to flip the Y since I want it going away from me there. There we are. Now, in this model, in the front plane, we had some 440 holes. We don't have those holes in this one, so this is an operation that we don't need. We're going to delete that one. The ramp for the large holes, this is a roughing operation to remove most of the material from these large holes. So we're going to come over and we're going to select them. And there we go. Easy peasy, right? We go to this, let's do the next ones. Horizontal. This operation is to machine this area right here, this ball bearing race. So we come in here, we select that. We've got that operation. This ramp here, it says it's for the 632 holes. So I'm going to select all of the 632 holes. And there we've machined out our holes. This is our outside contour. We're going to select the outside contour right there. That machines the outline. And finally, we're going to finish mill. This is a finish mill operation of these holes here. We're interested in this one, this one, this one, and this one. Got to make sure our arrows are on the inside, so we're going to click the red arrow. That'll flip it to the inside. Flip it to the inside. Click OK. And there is our finishing operation for our large holes. And now we have all of the operations defined for the front plate. You saw me do it in real time. We can then come up here and simulate it. Yep. Aha, does that look like what we need? No, it does not. Look at this operation on the outside. We machined away too much. Good thing we simulated this. Let's go back and take a look at that contour operation, this one here. The tool path is within the side of the part. We used the wrong side of the profile. So we're going to go back in here, edit this, click on this red arrow. You see it right there? Click on that. Now it's on the outside. Review that. Looks good. I think that's what we want. Simulate that again. And voila, there's our part. Exactly the way we want it. Okay, so quick summary. We looked at how to use templates. We looked at how to copy and paste whole setups. And we looked at how to use a manufacturing model. As we go forward, we're going to find there's more things we can do with that manufacturing model. It's a powerful capability without messing around with the original CAD model. So we covered what I wanted to cover today. If you have any questions on anything that we did, or if there's any clarifications you'd like to see, just leave me a comment below and we'll address it. All right, I'm Greg. Thanks for visiting me in my workshop. Until next time, take care.